Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. And boy, is it a Monday. Happy full moon. Let's get into it. We have a lot to chat about today. Aries full moon and the serpent between us. Yes. The symbol for this degree of this lunation is a serpent coiling near a man and a woman. I've really kind of leaned in to these symbols, especially with this upside down world. And sometimes they really make all the goose pimples stand, the biddies. This is one of those. Yeah. Speaks of all the potential of sacred union, the moment before creation. Yeah. It's the awareness of power before it's acted upon, right? Like a snake slithers in the room, you don't have to see it bite for you to know that it can. Yeah. I don't, him just being himself is a bit of an ominous threat, yeah? The awareness of power before it's acted upon. That tingle, that electricity, the one that gives you the goose pimples and the tight bitties, that electricity in the air. Yeah, that's the knocking of something ancient. And are you going to let it come in or not? It reminds us that creation is sacred. I've been hearing from a lot of content creators on here that I love this phrase. I am going to create more than I consume. Yeah, I'm on that train. I've been feeling that too. That makes so much sense with all this fertilized land that we will have the ability to build whatever off of. So we gotta admit it's shit first. Anyway, sorry I'm giggling. I'm ornery with Aries energy. Creation is sacred. Relationships are sacred. And not just like the romance woohoo. Bonds are sacred. The serpent, the long misunderstood fucking why the hell villain of the story. You want to know why? Because he's the keeper of wisdom. Remember, these guys like to take away our cups. This full moon ruled by Mars, okay? Because it's in Aries. Mars right now is in Scorpio. Mars is happy. Like he's got his two realms. I'm going to tell you, he likes being in Scorpio a little bit more because he's no longer the impulsive warrior. He is the alchemist. I'm going to let you know, if you ever mess with someone, Mars and Scorpio, yeah, they might not get you that day. You might not ever hear from them again. But you will be good. Trust. Look at all the people trying to fuck me over, okay? My Mercury in Aries is banging today. Blah, blah, blah. This is the Mars that understands that true power means containment. Means like, your emotions don't ride you. You gotta ride that ram. And don't forget, Mars is still technically squaring Pluto. Which, yeah, we're squaring as the serpent rises, testing what we've built. Pluto's wanting to know how good Mars does in Scorpio because Pluto's the modern ruler of Scorpio, and he kind of like to be in there. A little bit of tension on who rules the underworld. And while they're figuring that out, they're just dredging it up, and we're seeing how gross it is. They're here to test what we built, and they're here to show us what power really means. Okay, let's look at our cycles. Let's look at our timelines. Aries is big in the story of the United States, right? That's where our Chiron is, and we have Saturn in Libra. This is our wound, and we'll talk about the other lunations and eclipses close to this wound. So remember, this full moon, if you want to do moon magic, you look by the zodiac signs. So the new moon in Aries is when you would plant a seed, your intention for what you want to show itself, manifest itself by the time that the moon is in the sign again. So new to full, that's about 6 months. To understand tonight's full moon, we have to trek back to the new moon that is associated with this full moon, that was March 29th. Partial solar eclipse, depends on who you ask. This to me was very much like let's get ready for what is coming. Let's get ready for what is rising and changing and coming to us for our day-to-day. Because the symbol for that one was women with hats with streamers who face the east. It's a sign of faith. It's a sign of emergence. It's a sign of turning towards the light, the new birth, the new beginnings. The idea of this symbol is believe and then you will be. Holding on to that tight right now. Holding on to it tight. Eclipses are initiations in a way. The sky kind of opens a little doorway and asks, what do you want to begin for yourself? And not just you, but like your soul you, the one that's been traveling around everywhere, probably being, a centipede at one time. Who are you when you don't allow anyone else to script your story? God, it was an eclipse of self-reclamation because it came all wrapped up in the intensity of Venus and Mercury in Aries, but especially Venus rising as morning star. Remember? This was all to teach us that self-expression really requires you to understand who you are. True self-expression, true self-authenticity has to come with true self-understanding and holy. It was a cosmic reset, as they all are. A 6-month little seed baby planted in the dark. Now that seed baby is coming into full lumation under the Aries moon. Remember, always look at the headlines that were going on at this time too. It will help you. Headlines they hold their own myth in a lot of ways to me. The partial solar eclipse over the northern hemisphere, where they got a lot of bad weather. Myanmar earthquake. This is when we started seeing protests of Tesla and Elon. This is when the U.S. threatened military action for Greenland. It was Mars energy everywhere, but it's coming up in all the ways. Destruction, power, greed. Serpent was just underneath the global scale. The story from the eclipse of April 2024 until now. That solar eclipse was at the 29th degree of Aries, the one that closed an era. Sang the celestial hymn, the choir singing in the heavens. That was the symbol for it. I believe that was the last one before the nodes actually shifted. Our last little baby Aries eclipse, the nodes were already in Pisces and Virgo. There's always a little overlap. You can't turn on a light and make it, a different time. So that was when the serpent went underground, okay? And identity, anger, autonomy began to molt under the weight of this collective story. To me, that was the eclipse that kind of birthed this arc that we have. Divine war, divine harmony, divine identification, authenticity. So the fun part tonight, under the light of this first full Aries moon with no eclipse shadows, no dragon's ass, no nothing, not super close to the wound either, but just all Mars activated as hell. Serpent can resurface. You can see where it lives in our desires and in our wounds, in the space between power and love. Yes, full moon ruled by Scorpio, or ruled by Mars, who is in Scorpio, squared by Pluto, pulls us into revelation. Remember, Pluto's getting ready to go direct next week after this full moon. The kind of revelation that requires truth, self-control, sovereignty, and deep courage. The nodes are now humming through Pisces and Virgo, but it was before that Aries and Libra. Access of self and other. All through those years, Chiron has been moving through Aries, excavating centuries of repressed anger, especially any tied to identity, which if you look at the timeline of fascism, that seems to be their problem. To the male wound, the men fearing the rise of the feminine, divine or not, within or not. This full moon brings those buried tensions to light. Mars can move too hot and too fast, so steady your hands. Direct the flame towards what you choose to create. Don't forget, Mercury's standing there at that 29th degree in Libra, the degree of departure. Final word before the descent into Scorpio. It's the moment before the plunge. When you know that to speak your truth means you will never be the same again. Your world will never be the same again. God, I have a little bit more to say on this, so I'm going to have to do another video. I'm sorry.